Hey guys, it's Ryan here coming at you from Cincinnati HorrorHound once again. And I'm standing next to legendary Doug Bradley this time. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Yourself?
Enjoying the convention so far?
Very much so, yes. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah, we've been having a great time here, getting a lot of really great interviews. I just got to say, we really appreciate you guys coming out and doing HorrorHounds and stuff like this. It's
pleasure.
a great time.
What I always say to the fans, you have to forgive me, I'm a bit throaty at the moment, so I'm a bit rough and gravelly. Fans always say this, thank you for coming, thank you for coming, thank you for coming. I always say to them, it's not about us, it's about them, and it's all well and good us turning out, but this doesn't work unless they come.
Right.
And if they aren't here, I have to sit and look at Bill Forsyth for the whole weekend. Who the hell wants to do that? But it's a great turnout. It's a great show.
Yeah, it's always a fun time at HorrorHound. We definitely appreciate it. Well, let's talk about your biggest role here, Pinhead.
Okay. I figured that might come up
right,
somewhere.
Yeah. How did you give us a little backstory? How did you get involved with playing Pinhead?
Clive asked me to do it. I mean, Clive and I known each other for longer than either of us would care to admit. I met him in rehearsals for the school play in high school in Liverpool.
Right. So you guys are just friends.
In the late 60s, and that was where I got to know him. We had our own theatre company in Liverpool and then later in London for many years. And he asked me to play the role, and like a fool, I said yes.
Right. And look at
that's
what
it.
It's become
Simple
today.
as that. Well, yeah, and the first time Clive raised the possibility to me, he said, I'm trying to put an independent, low-budget British horror movie together, and there's a part in there I think you might be interested in. So, and we had spent a lot of time working in the theatre doing stuff that nobody was interested in.
Right.
Nobody was interested in Clive at all. The notion that we would get that movie together and that I'd be standing here 30 years later, it's 30 years since this year, since we shot the movie.
Long time.
The notion that I'd be standing here 30 years later still talking about the movie would have been crazy to me.
Yeah.
It still is crazy, but it's just...
Hey, it happened, and
we did something right.
How many times have you played Pinhead?
8 times.
8 times. Wow. And you've since retired from the role, I hear?
I haven't retired from the role, no. I mean, it's where are we? It's 13 years and rising since I last played the role. But of course, there have been 2 Hellraiser movies since then, recently. Mm-hmm. Neither of which I've taken part in for different reasons.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, any other roles that you have in mind other than Pinhead that might be like some of your favorites?
Well, back in theatre days, certainly. Again, working with Clive, a play of his called The History of the Devil, in which I played the devil. That was a wonderful play and a fantastic role. I mean, there's lots. I don't particularly covet roles. I don't kind of, collect favorites or.
Right.
I'm forced into that position with this guy because everybody keeps asking me about him.
Yes.
But I enjoy everything I'm doing while I'm doing it, So there's been lots along the way.
Cool. I've seen you've been doing some like audio books as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Spine Chillers series, which I've done with a production company called Renegade Arts Entertainment that I'm a part of. My principal partner in that is Alexander Finbo. He's based up now in Calgary in Canada, but we were in the UK, and we got that rolling with Tony Luke, who I worked with in the UK on an animated film called Dominator that Danny Filth was also involved in. We just lost Tony to cancer earlier this year, which was hit me pretty hard. So he was involved in the creation of Renegade. First thing we did was an audio-visual presentation of H.P. Lovecraft's The Outsider.
Nice.
I narrated the film, filmed in front of green screen, and then mixed principally by Tony with illustration and a little bit of animation.
Cool.
And then that led to doing straightforward audiobooks, which we've now completed 13 volumes. And Audible, the download hub, Download inform us that it's the biggest collection of horror stories ever recorded. And we're not done yet, we're still adding more.
Nice. That sounds exciting. I dig that kind of stuff.
I brought Robert Englund and Jeffrey Combs in to do some guest reading for us. So
yeah, that's cool. The Outsider is one of my favorite Lovecraft tales.
I'm all about the Lovecraft.
Yes, yeah, me too.
But that is an amazing story, and we were looking for a story about 15 to 20 minutes long to do as the audio-visual version, and we knew we wanted to do Lovecraft because Tony and I had talked about wanting to do some Lovecraft together. And I kind of sat down with a heavy heart and thought, okay, I'm going to have to plow through the whole of Lovecraft now, looking for the right story.
There's a lot of them.
The Outsider was the first.
Good ones.
The Outsider was the first story I read, purely by chance, and I didn't go any further because it ticked every box.
That was the one. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think that about does it. Doug, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.